Well, we have, just to wrap us up, a quick set of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So just,
Is
whatever
this where
first
the
comes to
trap door
mind.
comes out and
Yeah,
I drop
exactly.
through the floor? Okay.
Okay, first question is, what's your favorite memory in Dallas?
Oh, in Dallas?
Yeah.
Let me think. Well, it might not sound like it, but after 9/11, and everybody was in shock. I had a son in New York then. My first concern was for him. But then I had an editorial page. I had an editorial team. And we had to respond right away in real time to say what happened. And our thought was, I was so proud of the people around me that we had to lead the community forward. And we had to do it really quick because the news put out a special edition for kind of a stop the presses moment. And we did. And I just remember it was wonderful because we all rode together. And that was great. Bad scene, but good.
Yeah.
Good follow-up.
What book are you reading right now?
Well, I'm reading a book about the mafia and the CIA and how they cooperated to try to kill Fidel Castro.
Oh, wow. What's the book called?
The Mafia Spies.
Okay.
I'm
going to check it out.
It's really good.
Okay.
I think you'd enjoy it. It's very meaty.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. What's your favorite vacation spot?
Oh, gosh. France. I did the 23andMe test, and it turned out I'm like half French and half Norwegian.
Really?
Yeah, Pederson's a Norwegian name. I just feel at home there. I mean, not to mention the food and the wine and the whole
of course
ambiance. When I was there recently, I went with a friend to a concert at the Église Sainte-Chapelle, which is all blue stained glass, and they played Vivaldi and Ave Maria.
Wow.
And this opera singer, Fabienne Conrad, I'll never forget her name, a cappella, she walked down the aisle singing Ave Maria.
Oh my gosh.
I just get goosebumps. It was one of the most
That's
beautiful things in my life. So if you can capture those moments, that's great.
Wow.
That's my happy place.
Wow. So I think you might have answered this one, but most memorable interview that you've ever done? Or a couple of interviews.
Oh, yeah. Well, Julia Child was so amazing. I'd tried to call her for a long time. She was good friends with Paula Lambert, the mozzarella cheese owner here in Dallas, and I thought I was calling her secretary. Remember, her name was Stephanie. Called. Couldn't get her because she was 85 and she was still going around the world doing things. And one day I had a slow moment and I tried the number again, and she picked up the phone and she said, "Who?" I told her I was this woman in Dallas. I wanted to include her in my book, What's Next? And she said, "Well, have at it. Have a go. You've got me."
It's an excellent impression.
Yes, thank you. And she was just marvelous, and so that joie de vivre, spirit at life like that. Fidel Castro, this is going to sound odd, but I've interviewed a lot of dictators in my life, and most of them were very charming. You wouldn't think that, but that they were cunning, charming and cunning way. And Fidel Castro was like that. He's very tall, 6'2" or 6'3", and he was older. He was dyeing his beard this bluish blackish color. Maybe it's only dye they had there, but I told him that I'd asked the cardinal what he thought about Fidel and if he had prayed for Fidel, because the clergy had been kind of quiescent in Cuba, not opposing his regime for probably understandable reasons. He said, "Yes, I pray for Fidel." So when I get up to Fidel, I asked him. He had talked for 4 hours. My hand was so tired, I ran out of space on my notepad. I got out my checkbook. I wrote on all my checks. And I thought, well, what can I ask him that's different from what we spent 4 hours on? And I asked him, I said, the cardinal says he prays for you. Do you pray for anybody? And he looked taken aback. He had gone to a Jesuit school, and he said, well, yes. He said, I think positive thoughts for them. Isn't that the same thing? And I said, well, not exactly. But he said that the Jesuit priest had told him when trying to describe what hell was that it was like a big mechanical ball bearing, and there's this mechanical bird, And he has to just sit there and keep pecking at that ball over and over and over again to the end of time without cease. And he said that image has never left me. So here was a man who had been responsible for killing thousands of people and was still holding his country hostage. So he had a lot on his conscience that I thought, I bet he's got that image in his mind somewhere. But that was very memorable. Just that image of the ball bearing sticks with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What music or band are you listening to right now?
Well, I like Vivaldi, actually. I like to listen to it in my car. Yeah.
Is there a story that you always wanted to cover but maybe didn't get the chance to, or is still hopefully down the road?
Well, I've interviewed a lot of presidents, 4 or 5, and that's always interesting to just see history in the flesh. But I haven't the last couple of presidents, so it would be fun, whoever the next president is, to do an interview with them.
Absolutely.
Maybe they like mysteries.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I could send them a copy of The King of Diamonds.
Sure, they'd love it. When do you think we might be able to expect a King of Diamonds movie or TV show?
I mentioned there are a couple of producers who are actively, as they say, shopping it. But my agent told me, he said, don't buy your dress yet, Rena. So
I can't jinx it.
I'm not counting on that. It would be it'd be really exciting to do. Yeah, but I figure I'll be an octogenarian then, probably. And I thought, well, why not? Why not? Yeah. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Will you have me back?
Of course.
Okay.
You can come back anytime.
Thank you.